everyone. I extend a warm welcome to each one of you as we gather here for a significant occasion under the Indian Overseas Congress. My name is Sophia Sharma. I'm the General Secretary of this esteemed organization, Indian Overseas Congress. It's an honor to stand before a vibrant community that signifies the spirit of unity, progress, of a great nation, even beyond its shores. We have amongst us various dignitaries who have been working with Indian Overseas Congress. We are about to be enlightened by a presence of great diligence and dedication, Dr. Sam Pitroda-ji. Dr. Pitroda-ji wears many hats, but most notably, he is our esteemed chairman. His journey is an inspiring story of how foresight and commitment can lead to significant contributions, not just for an organization, but for the larger community we represent. The road he has traveled is filled with remarkable achievements that echo his dedication towards bringing about a positive change. His guidance has always been our North Star, leading us towards various meaningful pursuits. Today, Dr. Pitroda-ji will be spearheading our membership drive, an initiative that beckons each one of us to step forward and contribute towards a stronger, unified community. So let's give a warm welcome to a leader who embodies the spirit of service and community, Dr. Sam Pitroda-ji.
All right.
Now I would like to request Mr. Mohinder Singh Gilzia-ji, President, Indian Overseas Congress. He has been working hard over all these years to make Indian Overseas Congress even stronger and bring not only East Coast or West Coast, but the whole United States together to support the causes of unity and fight for what we really believe in, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and make sure that we are able to fight against various demons that we are facing right now. I would also like to request Mr. Gurpreet Singh Sabi-ji. He is Chairman of Haryana Chapter, Indian Overseas Congress. He has also been working really hard in the Midwest area, and we are grateful to have him amongst us.
All right.
Now, I would like to request Mr. Iftikhar Sharif, the main person behind this event. He worked really hard to bring all of us together. He's a well-known community leader, businessman, philanthropist, FIA trustee, and even many more hats. He has been working really hard to make this event a success, and I'm grateful to have him amongst us. Thank you so much for your support to Indian Overseas Congress. Now, I would like to request Mr. Minhaj Akhtar-ji to please join us on stage. He's the President of Indian Minority Association. He's also a lecturer with Muslim Community Center, an activist and community leader. He's also the main reason we all are here together. Thank you for your support to Indian Overseas Congress and bringing us all together. Yes. I would also like to request Mr. Satish Nayyar-ji. He's our senior leader from Indian Overseas Congress. He's also been working really hard and dedicated many years to support Indian Overseas Congress and support us. I would request Mr. Mohinder Singh Gilzia-ji to please say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our global chairman Sam Pitroda-ji, Sharif-ji, Minhaj Akhtar-ji, our General Secretary Sophia Sharma, Gurpreet Singh, Chairman Haryana Chapter, and Satish Nair, senior leaders from Kerala. So, ladies and gentlemen, I understand today is weekdays and traffic is very bad in Chicago. Time is almost 7 o'clock, but we are more than an hour we are late. We are sorry about that. So, as everybody knows, we are here today to form new team in Midwest of Indian Overseas Congress, USA. So our future leader from on today, Mr. Minhaj Akhtar ji, he will be lead Midwest chapter of Indian Overseas Congress USA and his team. And our goal is here. Our leader, future Prime Minister of India, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji came almost 5 months ago to United States of America. So he visited to 3 different cities from San Francisco to Washington DC to New York. But his dream, he want to come to Chicago also. But that time we don't have a team in Midwest. So we want to build a team. In the future we can bring our own leaders in Midwest. So we want to give this responsibility to Minhaj Akhtar ji, to working president of Indian Overseas Congress, USA.
All right.
And this is the big responsibility, Minhaj ji. You have to work hard. It's not only you received a letter today and you sit down. You have 9 states around you. And you have to find leaders in each and every state. You have to find leaders in next few weeks. We cannot wait for months, because after next 6 months we have parliament election in India, which is very crucial election for Congress party. We need support from every corners. My chairman Sam Padoda's dream, we want to establish team in every town and every city of the United States of America. So he is very busy, but he came today like more than an hour ago. He wait for us. So please, so we have to find the leaders, and we give you responsibility. You have a great leader with you, Mr. Sharif, and you find and give us team and build a strong team in Midwest. And totally, now the 5 state elections going on and back home, and especially your state. You are from Telangana, and I request you, after this function, all leaders go to Telangana for at least for 2 weeks. Find more leaders and go to Telangana and work for your state. Telangana state, our Congress party leader, Madam Sonia Gandhi, give this state to our Telangana people.
Absolutely.
So we have to give back to her.
Sure.
So I want Sam sir, according to Sam sir directions, we want to this meeting we want to different way as is guideline. So now I request Mr. Minhaj Akhtar ji, you can lead.
Thank you. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and pleasure to take this charge as a Midwest working president.
All right.
This is not possible even in a short notice without the help of my elder brother, Mr. Iftikhar Sharif.
You deserve it.
He's not only elder brother, but he's the inspiration for Chicagoland area, for all the jobs we do. I've been representing Indian Minority Association since 2008. We do everything in Midwest, in whole Midwest. And also I'm a person representing Lakeshore Muslim Community Center since 1993 in Chicagoland area. So it's my honor and pleasure, like our president, national president, Mohinder ji, told us that we should go for 2 weeks. So we already planned for 15 days for Telangana. Even if we receive any orders, we will move on. We'll go to other states also, where we can speak in Urdu or Hindi or English. We are bilingual, thank God, that we can represent our people. Now, this is the most important for my state, that the Telangana was gifted by Sonia Madam with the closed doors. This is our job to give the Telangana back to her. Now, this is going to be it's not going to be bhashan in this event. We're going to connect with everyone, whoever sitting here. This is the idea that come from Sam Petrodaji. We're going to do something different. And all these questions, we have a volunteer. Whoever asking question, mostly Sam Petrodaji is going to give that answer if he's in capacity, or anybody else. So not taking your long time, bhashan. Before we start that, I want to invite Mr. Iftikhar Sharif ji for a few words. Because without him in Illinois, it's impossible to do anything. He's a philanthropist. He worked tirelessly day and night. He already planned to go to Telangana. He already planned to go different states in India. So he is the man who always support Congress. He always permanently support Congress. Especially he brought Mr. Muhammad Azharuddin, the cricketer, the ex-MP, and he's going to be competing hopefully again if the orders comes in. So please welcome Mr. Iftikhar Sharif.
All right.
Good evening, namaskar, sat sri akal, and adab. I'm so honored and privileged to have esteemed chairman of the Indian Overseas Congress with us, Dr. Sam Petrodaji, who doesn't need introduction. You just Google his name, you will get tons of pages about him. And of course, our US President, Mohinder Singh Ji, Secretary General, and our own cities, Satish and Nair, and many of the leaders who are here. Mohinder Ji, the people who have showed up today, they are leaders in their own capacity. They represent their own community, they represent Gujarati community, some Punjab community, Telugu community, and many more. Just like when I was in university, we had invited the Chief Justice of America. Chief Justice came, and there were only 3 people in the hall. And everybody were shocked whether he's going to get upset or leave or what's going to happen. But definitely he spoke his full speech, whatever he had bought. He spoke for half hour, 45 minutes. Then he explained, it is not about the numbers, but it's the message that you will carry to your people. So you can calculate as how many people are here. And our word means something back in India. Whether you're from Punjab or Kerala, whether Telangana or whatnot, you make phone call and say, look, Congress is coming back to power, and vote for the Congress. And they have a nice manifesto they have released, especially in Telangana. It's such a great manifesto, and all over India also they have released. And you have seen the results of Karnataka with the nice manifesto, and same thing will swipe Telangana with winning back to Sonia Gandhi ji. So this is how we have to win one after one. Now the next would be Rajasthan, and many other states are coming up for election, and definitely it will make a difference. And today we are here, like Minaj Akhtar said, that we are here to talk about or hear your views and your comments about the Congress, how you could be able to help ourselves and help so that the vote gets out to your area, your neighborhood, and so many other ways that we can do it. Yes, there are a few people who could definitely travel to India and make a difference. And I myself am leaving this Sunday just for the 5 states elections. So I will be, working there, and I urge whoever who could come, please, you're welcome. If not, you work from there, and that is the wonderful thing you can do. I'm so happy that we have many leaders like Dr. Rahul Dipankarji, who just came from Washington after installing the biggest Dr. Ambedkar statue other than India. That is such a big statue they have built. It stands for equality. You all know that today we are enjoying the Constitution, enjoying the free speech and free everything. It's because of Dr. Ambedkar's written Constitution along with his team. And so many of you, start naming, they're all the leaders in their own capacity. But definitely, we are thankful, as well as thankful to our best team in Overseas Congress, led by Dr. Sam Petraji, and US Overseas Congress led by Mohinder Singh ji. And we will work hard. Mohinder ji, let me commit to you that yes, while the elections is going on, we'll make sure that the Midwest will take its shape, and every city in Midwest will have representation, will have the executive team. Since now you have given the responsibility to Minhaj Akhtar, let me assure you that Minhaj Akhtar, when he takes the work, he will work day and night. He is so after, anything which he accepts, he'll do it. He served as the FIA president, among many Gujaratis and non-Muslims, but yet he proved that he could be an FIA president. He served in NFIA as the executive vice president, and many other associations he served, beside being a good Muslim leader himself. So when Mohinder ji called me and they said, we are looking for a minority person, since they have all the non-minority in the group, and then only one name came to my mind, who will not only spend his time and his dime, is no other than Minhaj Akhtar. He could do that, and he will make all of us proud by forming the different groups in different cities. And definitely, I think we need to move on with your questions and other things, and appreciate Mr. Sharma, the Secretary General, to moderate this event for us. And thank you, and Jai Congress, Jai Bharat, Jai Hind. Thank you.
Leaders of the Indian Overseas Congress on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is indeed a special honor and pleasure for me to be here. I want to thank Mohinder ji for coming all the way from New York, Sophia, you also, and Gurpit for coming all the way from Indianapolis. I want to thank all the local leaders. And I want to start with my compliments to Minhaj for taking over as the President of Indian Overseas Congress in Chicago. Chicago is a big hub for Indian community. I came here 60 years ago. When I came to Chicago, there were no more than 450 people of Indian origin here. There was no temple. You could hardly see any Indian on the street. And any time you saw someone of Indian origin, you got so excited that you met them, invited them to your place. No Indian food was available. For the first time in 67, 68, you could get besan in an Italian store. And we all went wild because we thought we could make some pakoras. We have come a long way. Today we are close to 250 or 300,000 people. Very vibrant Indian community in Chicago. Very successful people. Businessmen doctors, scientists, engineers, teachers, and we are all very proud of our community and what our community has done. Not just the first generation, but also the second generation is equally talented, capable, and vibrant. Now we have people in politics, banking, and all kinds of activities. As you know, some of our Indians run very large multinationals in the US, and India is pretty well recognized as IT powerhouse, technology powerhouse. We have something like 50,000 doctors of Indian origin in US. While all of this stuff is going on, I find that the world is in a mess. My sympathies are with the people of Palestine and Israel, where innocent people are unnecessarily being killed. Same with the people of Ukraine and Russia, mainly because global leaders believe that the only way to resolve conflict is to create violence. As opposed to focusing on non-violence as the means to resolve conflict, like Gandhiji had said, like what Indian philosophers believed in, from Buddha to Guru Nanak to Gandhi and many others. World over, violence is seen as an instrument to resolve conflict. So I am very unhappy as to what is going on in the world. I am very worried. I am equally worried about what is going on in India. I am concerned because the polarized politics of the last decade has really divided Indian communities. India is all about diversity, inclusion, love, democracy. India is all about freedom, justice, and a lot of these things are being attacked systematically in a well-organized way by putting people with RSS background in universities, in government, in major institutions, and essentially institutions are captured, media is controlled, civil society is killed, and I worry about all of that. And that's where the idea of Congress comes in. Congress is an idea that really fought for free, independent India, and that idea is being attacked. Normally I am not very active in politics. I've stayed in the back. But I think now we are at a point today where we need to raise our voice. You can't be coward. You got to have courage to stand up and say things that need to be said. Some people may not like it, but if you believe in something, if you are convinced, you've got to really move forward. So we are trying to do as much as we can under the leadership of Mohinderji Gill in the US. Similarly, Indian Overseas Congress has chapters in 32 countries, and Rahul and I decided to take on a tour where we went to England first, spent 3-4 days, then he came here, we spent 5 days here, 2 days in Silicon Valley, 2 days in Washington, and 2 days in New York. Then we went to EU, where we spent a day in Brussels, day in Paris, day in Netherlands, and day in Norway. We'll take another trip very soon, perhaps to Asia Pacific. And the message is really to educate and inform people about what is going on in India and mobilize communities like this, where non-resident Indians can begin to touch base at home to explain to their own families and friends as to what is going on and what should be the right path. As mentioned earlier, there are 5 elections in the states, and these elections will really dictate the kind of mood that we create for the national elections in mid-2024. 2024 will essentially dictate the destiny of a nation of 1.5 billion. Either we go one way, based on religion, fundamentalist, polarized politics, control, hierarchical system, and more like a dictatorial mindset, or we go with more democratic, decentralized idea of a country which belongs to everybody, where minorities are well respected, and the conversation has already begun on OBC, Dalit, tribals, and others. So today, first we thought, between Minhas and I, that we will have a little conversation. But looking at the setting, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the overview, and then we can move on into a conversation. So the idea was to set the stage that the world is at crossroads. India is equally at crossroads. And these are very difficult times that human civilization is going through. Part of it has to do with, I believe, hyperconnectivity. Recently, I've been reading about what happened after a nuclear bomb was invented, how Einstein and others set up a group to focus on forming world government because they were concerned that the humanity will be threatened with nuclear technology. I believe there is another time right now with AI that again humanity is going to go through a major transformation if we are not careful with what we do with these technologies. In light of all of this, we need to put India back on track. And that's why we are here for. Thank you, Minhas. Now we can have a conversation.
On the board, we have first question. It's going to be like a fire chat. The first question requested from Sayyid Ilyas from the crowd. I give the opportunity to Sayyid Ilyas.
Please.
सामने आ जाओ.
Or you can come here, or yeah, I think it's better that you come here because, and the next person should really be here rather than wasting time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Saji.
Respected elders, brothers and sisters, and special thanks to Minhas Sahab ji.
Question. Focus on question.
My question is, I wish all of you a very happy evening for Indian Overseas Congress Midwest because we got the opportunity to join you. Because what we are seeing today is, it gives me a lot of hope to be among you all, and it gives me a lot of positivity about us. I see light at the end of the tunnel. Because whatever is going through in India, the fascist organizations, which is instilling fear in the minds of the people and creating an atmosphere of uncertainty. And
what is the question?
My question is what will be the focus of the Congress main agenda when it comes to power in India? Does it going to take action on the fascist organizations? Does it going to, block them? like RSS, like Bajrang Dal, all these organizations should be banned? If there will be any information on this, my main question is this.
Okay. Congress party has always stood for commitment to constitution, democracy, freedom. If Congress party comes to power, Congress party will spend all the resources to put our institutions back on track, free up media, improve security. As part of that exercise, whatever needs to be done to RSS, Bajrang Dal, and all that would be done. But it will be under a larger plan of action to put democracy on track. We are not vindictive. We don't work like that. We don't have a plan to go after somebody or put somebody in jail. We don't do that. We didn't do that in the past. But we will definitely guard our constitution with great deal of respect. And anyone who is really going to be affecting security of the country, safety of our people, will be taken to task, guaranteed. So that's the answer to the question. I would request you to have specific question. That was the idea, and not have big comment, because then we can take more questions.
Good evening, everyone. I would rather prefer to talk in Hindi so that I can express my feelings.
Please.
In fact, मेरा कोई सवाल नहीं है, क्योंकि कांग्रेस खुद एक जवाब है हर चीज का। और मैं चूँकि मेरे क्लासमेट्स के ग्रुप है व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर, जिसमें मेजॉरिटी जाहिर है मेरे डिफरेंट कम्युनिटीज के सबके मेरे दोस्त मेरे साथ हैं। मैं सिर्फ जहर देख रहा हूँ, हमारे खिलाफ, इंसानियत के खिलाफ एक जहर देख रहा हूँ, जिसका बेहतर इलाज कांग्रेस ही है। व्हाट आई फर्मली बिलीव। अब पहले मेरे को व्हाट्सएप आया कि
Trying to tell him to. When you're done, take the mic and stand right here. Whoever comes
कांग्रेस की तरफ
next.
से
Enough, then take the mic away.
स्कूटी दिया जाएगा जो लड़कियां कॉलेज में जाती हैं। तो उसका जवाब, उसका मजाक उड़ाया जा रहा था उस ग्रुप में कि भी जब देंगे तब देखेंगे, ये मजाक हुआ। तो मैं दिल में बोला, ऐसा मजाक तो 15 लाख का जो हुआ था, जिसको कोई नहीं पूछा कि 15 लाख कहाँ गए। तो कांग्रेस इटसेल्फ इज ए जवाब फॉर एवरी रीजन। और मेरा ख्याल है कि हमको सबको कांग्रेस को भी सपोर्ट करना है। दैट्स व्हाट आई बिलीव। थैंक यू।
Thank you. But, just taking a hint from this comment on social media. People pay perhaps too much attention to social media because that's what you get. You get bombarded with all kinds of messages from bots, lies, misinformation, and you think this is what the world is about. World is not about that. That's why Rahul Gandhi took Yatra. The idea of Yatra was to really bypass social media and essentially listen to the people on the street, people in the community. Social media is manipulated. If you have 2,000 people paid to respond to every comment on social media, you can change the conversation. Recently there was a fake news that Sam Pitroda tried to introduce Adani to Rahul Gandhi. It was all over. It's total lie. I don't even know Adani. I never talked to him. I don't have his number. But they promote lies like this and create confusion. And people go on and, I get 10 phone calls saying, have you heard this? Did you know this? Is it true? It is all useless conversation. But it goes on. It is very difficult to sort signal out of noise on social media. So I would be very careful with what you watch on social media, what is truth, what is lie, what is propaganda. Make your own judgment. Don't jump to conclusions. Please. Thank you. Boliye? But I would still request questions and not comments, because our comments are basically similar.
Thank you, Petrol Daddy and Ekta. Thank you and congratulations for organizing this, and you are the stump of the society around here, and we really appreciate your efforts. I really want to thank him, you, your family. It has been a wonderful, wonderful time of change with negative and positive effects. But I'm not going to go into that. I only want to ask two questions. Congress is not connecting with people. That is a short version of very skim observation. So discarding. The question is, what does caste census means and how can it help Congress? Number one. And number two, what are three things that Congress can do to come back to power and center?
Thank you. First of all, I buy your comment that Congress is not connecting with people, especially in the US, Indian community. You need to help us do that. On our own, we are not capable of connecting with large number of people. We don't have the temple-based institutions because BJP uses temple to connect with all the bhakts very easily. We don't have that. So you have to help us connect with more people. But I must tell you, every time I meet friends like this, I know that there is a lot of goodwill in the community. Lots of people want to work, but they don't know what to do. They can convince their own relatives, their own friends of the facts and inform them as to what the real challenges are. Next part of your question is about OBC, Dalits, tribals, minorities. In India today, you're shaking your head. Did I make a mistake?
That was not my question. I want to know three things that
That's the next question. I thought first you talked about OBC and then you talked about three things. So that's the third question, if I made a mistake. Should I continue with this or should I go to the next one? What would you suggest?
It's not my job.
Let me then take, no, you asked, that's why I'm answering your question. Okay. So about OBC and all, Congress has taken a very strong stand that we need census. I know for sure, based on my own information, that only 4% of the people in the universities' important jobs are occupied by OBC and others. 96% of the university jobs are controlled by high caste. Of the 73 secretaries of the government of India, there are only 6 secretaries from 90% of the caste. And there are 90% of the people from 10% of the caste. So this has to be broken. It's taken too long. Should have been done long time ago. But then there was no talent. Talent pool has now been created with all the universities. It took 40 years to get the results out of IIT and IIMs and universities. It doesn't happen overnight. Satya Nadellas and others today are running big companies because they went to best of the best schools 40 years ago. And this did not happen overnight. Then I come to your main question, what are the 3 things that you will do? Today, the real challenge is one, to put democracy back on track. That challenge is very complex. It will require rebuilding institutions, identifying people who have been put in place of power, and turning it over to professionals. And I can give you example of university, where university vice chancellors are predominantly from RSS. And there are close to 1,000 universities in India. So that's a big overall task. And there are layers and layers of that task. And I can go on and talk to you for an hour on what needs to be done, because we have done fair amount of work. Second is really economy. Economy is in deep mess. Jobs have not been created because everyone has been promised that we'll create 20 million jobs a year. In fact, jobs have been reduced in the last decade. Inflation has to be controlled. Economy has to be put on track. Debt has increased. And there are a whole lot of things that people like Raghuram Rajans and others have reviewed and have a plan in place to see how we need to bring our economy back on track. Third, and perhaps more important, is safety and security of the people. We need to make sure that all minorities feel safe and secure in India. Whether it is Muslims, Christians, Jews, Sikhs, or anybody, they all need to feel that they are very much part of the mainstream and are not being sidelined. These are very complex issues. We have a plan. It will be articulated in the manifesto, which will be debated, discussed at various levels, so it becomes everybody's plan and not just one or two people's plan. That process normally begins 3 or 4 months before elections. A lot of data already exists, and there are a lot of capable people in India who give their input. Don't underestimate the talent pool that we have. We have lots of good ideas. We don't do a great job in execution, but the ideas are around. So if I have to answer to you in terms of 3 things, I would first say, put democracy back on track. To me, that is the most important thing. And that includes free media, includes institutions restructuring, and includes role of civil society. Today, civil society is basically killed. Then next would be economy. Jobs, inflation, and a whole lot of issues which relate to growth, prosperity. And third would be safety, security, relationship with neighbors, all of that. And there are 12 other things, whether it has to do with education, health, infrastructure, communication, all of that. Energy is being thought through. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions, I could ask Sam if takes more questions or you know.
Please. Please.
Good evening, everyone. मैं मेरा सवाल ये है कि जब से बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट आई है इंडिया में, खास तौर पर ट्रिपल तलाक हो या हिजाब का मुद्दा हो, ज़्यादातर माइनॉरिटीज़ पे टारगेट बहुत किया जाता है। तो एक राहुल गांधी साहब है जिसे एक उम्मीद है कि आने वाले वक्त में हिंदुस्तान के हालात बेहतर होंगे, एक रोजगार मिलेगा नौजवानों को, एक अच्छी एजुकेशन होगी। ये जो आजकल के तंजीम है कि एक माइनॉरिटी को ज़्यादा टारगेट किया जा रहा है, ट्रिपल तलाक के नाम हो या हिजाब का नाम हो या फिर बोझ का हो, तो कांग्रेस आने के बाद इस पर क्या वर्कआउट किया जाएगा? जो ये इम्प्लीमेंट चिल्ड्रन बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट आई इस पर स्टे लगाया जाएगा? और मेरा ये सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन ये है, हमने काफ़ी बार से देखा हूँ कि हिंदुस्तान की मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट में मुस्लिम पार्लियामेंट एमपीज बहुत कम है। तो कांग्रेस आने के बाद, कांग्रेस जब इख्तियार में आई, हमेशा से यही कहते बीजेपी हो या कांग्रेस जो भी सरकार में आते हैं तो हमारी मिनॉरिटी में मेजॉरिटी बहुत कम है। तो इस बार हमें ज़रूरत है कि सियासी पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड हमारा हो, हमारी भी आवाज़ हो। हम तो साथ है, कांग्रेस के साथ है, लेकिन हम साथ में रहना भी चाहते हैं, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हो या राज्यसभा हो। तो अब आने वाले इलेक्शन में कांग्रेस कितने मुस्लिम्स को मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और राज्यसभा की टिकट देंगे? 300 से ज्यादा है, तो उसमें से 60 और 70, 50, आपका इस पर क्या आंसर है? मैं उम्मीद रखता हूँ कि आने वाले हालात कांग्रेस के साथ हिंदुस्तान के बेहतर होंगे एंड वी होप फॉर द बेस्ट। Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace in our country and may Allah protect all of us from this evil government, because they are सबके लिए बेकार है। तो मेरा यही आपसे क्वेश्चन है, कितने मुस्लिम एमपीज और राज्यसभा में कितने आएंगे? 300 से ज्यादा है।
Thank you for your question. I think it's an important question. And when I said put democracy back on track, it includes ideas like this. It is not just about Muslims, it is also about women. How many women would be contesting elections? How many Dalits? How many OBC? Why just Muslims? All of this will have to be done, but it's not going to happen overnight. We got to start that process. It is too late already. But everyone is committed for fair representation in the future. Representation today is not fair. Large number of high caste communities have controlled India for too long. Partly, the talent did exist in minority communities in the past, partly. There were people like Maulana Azad and others, but if you look at large numbers, they were only in very sort of upper caste communities. That has changed. Now there is enough talent in the country, and we got to put that talent to use. So it is definitely on the agenda.
Good evening. My name is Vasan, and I have a question. In the past, Congress government, we never had these events, but recently I just checked Google. In Google it says there were 249 churches were burned in the month of May within 36 hours. That has never happened in the past in the Congress government. And I want to know if we are going to take back our culture back and maintain our beliefs. Is it possible with Congress? And I know it has been done before, but during the last 1 year, we're talking about 1 month in May in 36 hours, 249 churches have been destroyed. And I hope Congress will do something about it. And Mr. Iftkhar Sharif, thank you so much for your involvement. And you've been with us in many, many events, and you have supported us. And we thank you. And the second question I have is Mr. Satish, who has a second question for you.
Also, being an IT guy, I want to know what you're working on the social media aspect of Congress, because I feel that very less work is done on the social media aspect of educating people, because we see all the other side of the story, but from the Congress side, I think IT part is the involvement is very less, so try to work on that. That's the question.
Okay, thank you. Both are very important questions. You know what happened in Manipur. The crisis there is an example of the kind of polarized politics that goes on in India. Burning so many churches is just not acceptable. Not only to Congress, but to large number of people in India. Even some people I know in BJP don't approve of this kind of violence. It is sad that a small group of people create these kinds of situations. An impression given is that everybody has joined hands. It's not true. It cannot be allowed. It will not be allowed. It has never happened in the 70 years of Indian history, or 75 years. And it's a shame for all of us. India belongs to everybody. When I go to Goa, I see the proud churches. When I go to Kerala, I see mosque and church and temple right side by side. That's the India we all grew up with, and that's the India we cherish. So I sympathize with your concern, and I want to assure you that Congress will do whatever possible to make sure that these kinds of things don't happen. On the IT question, it's a myth that we don't have IT capabilities. Let me tell you, because I am in deep of it. I deal with it regularly at various levels. We have a very robust IT cell in Delhi, in every state, at IOC, in every country. There are two fundamental differences between us and them. One, we do not lie and chase anybody purposely. So you will not see Congress party chasing some reporter because he said something bad about Rahul Gandhi. BJP, as soon as you said something like this girl who asked a question to Biden in press conference, 10,000 people jumped on her. And all you see in the social media is that news. So you think they are very active. They spend hundreds and hundreds of crores on advertising in social media. If our budget is 10 crores, their budget is 500 crores on social media. We know it. I know it. Okay? I'll give you one example. During last election, Ahmed Patel and I had worked on some advertising case where for 12-page ad in some major Indian magazine, BJP paid 11 crores or something like that. And the same magazine came to us and said, look, there is a BJP ad, we want Congress ad, it will look bad if you don't have ad, blah, blah, blah. And I negotiated and I said, look, we can't pay 11 crore, we don't have 11 crore to pay. If you are that concerned about our ad, give us for maybe 1.5 crore. After 20 days of negotiations, they agreed with 1.5 crore. I called Ahmed Bhai and I said, Ahmed Bhai, this is what I could do. Now you deal with him. Ahmed Bhai got him to 75 lakhs. Okay. That is the level of difference. It is order of magnitude that they spend. They have huge amount of funds, whether through bond or through their rich friends or through whatever they have. You got to give them credit for it. We didn't do any of that. When we were in power, we could not even collect enough money to build our own building. We don't have Congress building done yet. That's the difference. Now you could say we are naive, you could say we are bad, but that's the DNA of the party. Congressmen may be very rich, but Congress party is not very rich. There's a big difference. In BJP is very rich. BJP leader may also be rich, we don't know. But systematically, they have money machine, which we cannot compete. We got to live with that. But we got to touch hearts of the people, minds of the sane people, and explain to people that our future collectively belong in respecting each other, in creating space for a conversation, in listening to different viewpoints, in accepting our differences, and not expect all of us to be the same. It is okay for you to eat beef. I don't care. Just because you eat beef, I can't start beating you. It's just sad that that's how people think. That's what we need to fight. It's okay for you to pray the way you want to pray. This is the main difference between what we believe in and what is going on in India today. I'm not very good at articulating some of these issues, but I can feel it in my heart that when I see an Indian, I never ask them, what is your religion? I never ask them, what do they practice? I love them. And I must tell you that when I started working at Indian Overseas Congress, I'm amazed at the Punjabi Sardarjis, and I'm not saying because Mohinderji is here, but they have big heart. I'm telling you, everywhere I go, there are 10 Sardars. And they donate enough money compared to Gujaratis or anybody else, I must tell you. They are very warm, and that's the Indian DNA. You know, Rahul and I had a once long conversation on his yatra, and I didn't realize how much Guru Nanak walked. I was ashamed of myself that I did not know that he walked all the way to Makkah. Then went to Uzbekistan, Turkestan. I mean, it's amazing. 500 years ago. 500 years ago, some Indian called Guru Nanak had the opportunity to walk and walk and walk. Can you believe that? That's the Indian DNA we should be proud of. Okay. People don't understand this. Buddha did the same thing. That is the India I believe in. I don't believe in India which says it is only Hindu India. Nobody else should have the same respect. I cannot stand that. And that's what we are fighting. Okay? Anything else? I hope this format is better than giving a lecture. हाँ बोलिए बोलिए.
Recently there was a statement from Mr. Stalin of Chennai. He condemned Sanatani very badly and openly. Why we have not seconded him? We support him.
We have.
In thousands of years, nobody has dared to speak like that.
You see, yeah, this is a very complicated issue, though I'm not qualified. because I'm not a religious man. I don't pray. I'm not, I don't go to temples, but I'm supposed to be Hindu. I have outsourced religion to my wife completely. Okay, and she does a great job, so I don't interfere. But basic question we have to ask is, who are Hindus? Who are these Brahmins? Where did they come from? Original Aborigine Indians were Dravidians. They were the dark people in south. They were the original. Of course, they all came from Africa. But they were settled there for a long time. And then came people from Iran. People up from north. Through Afghanistan and all. They settled in India, they became Brahmins. I'm reading a book right now written by Phule. Phule, 150 years ago, wrote a book on slavery. And it talks about this whole business of foreigners coming into India and controlling local Indian population and coming up with all these stories about religion. And they are the Brahmins who controlled India for thousands of years. I don't know the facts. Okay. This is history, as seen by somebody. But the fact today is, a handful of people dominate Indian scene. And we are not giving equal opportunities to others, and that's what we are fighting. Forget about what happened in the past. Yes, sir.
My name is Rajaullah Quraishi. I have been here almost the same number of years as with Rotaji, 58 years.
And you are 4 years older than I am, and you look damn good.
First time I met with Rotaji was in 1970, India's Secular Society. There was a meeting, small meeting, and I took a guest from India to speak there. First of all, a disclaimer, I have a little hearing issue, so with this echo, I'm not able to catch everything what is being said, so if there's a duplication, please pardon me. As we know that democracy functions on the most important thing in democracy is the opposition, the role of opposition. And two-party system. Two-party system is very important. Now, these days, as we know, one party has been ruling for 10 years, almost without much opposition. So, my question is, and Congress is obviously the second most prospective party, but the role of opposition, considering that, it's very important, coalition building and a united front opposition. And I know the efforts have been going on. But my question is, can there be more stress and more little bit by working between other parties to bring them together to oppose the ruling party, which we all know has been dividing the country? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think a lot of effort has gone into putting India alliance together. All other major parties have come together. It is working well. I've been talking to a lot of people there and some of my colleagues, and everyone is upbeat about India alliance. If India alliance can come together in terms of selecting seats where they have unified candidate, 1-to-1 against BJP, election results would be very different. Because 60% of the people don't vote for BJP. Only 40% of the people vote for BJP. Remaining 60 get divided into multiple parties. But if these parties decide to have one candidate, victory is assured. And that's going to be the challenge in this election. Okay? I assume many of you are hungry, but
Last question.
My question is about Manipur. I really appreciate the first leader, Rahul Gandhi, went mediate and he console all the Christians, two different groups. What is the outcome of the Manipur will be if Congress will be ruling? That is number one. Number two is, what is the assurance they are giving in other states for the Christians especially? I see Kamareddy, Nizambad, even Hyderabad. In Telangana area, I don't even see two or one Christian candidate in MLA seats.
First of all, Manipur would be put on track. This is an environment that polarized politics has created, where you hate Christians, where you hate Muslims. It's the environment of hate. I mean, recently I was just reading or seen somewhere that in Gujarat during Garba, now they will not allow Muslim to take Garba. I mean, what kind of an issue is that? We grew up in Gujarat where everybody took Garba. All Muslim girls and boys joined us as if it was everybody's affair. Okay. No one ever thought in my generation that you will prevent Muslim girl who is a friend of your sister not to take part in Garba. That's the level we have gotten to. And that is just not acceptable. They are our children. You know, when we came to US, my mother stayed in a small little village by herself. She didn't want to move for a while. And the people who gave her company were two Muslim girls who lived right in front of our house because they didn't have TV. My mother had TV. So these two girls will come and sit with my mother all the time. It's just a normal thing to do. No one ever thought that they are different. That's what has happened in last 10 years. Okay? And that has to change. If I have a friend, George, I never even think that he's Christian. He's George. He's my friend. All of a sudden, in one decade, it has changed. Everybody is conscious of your religion, what you eat, what you practice. That's not the India we lived in. Yeah? Sardar was an uncle to everybody in the neighborhood. Nobody thought that he's a Sikh. He's an uncle. That feeling has changed. And that's what is hurting India. That's hurting our jobs. That's hurting our security. That is hurting our peace. That single element has to flip. And that flip can come only from your heart. You have to feel that this must change. And it will change. Thank you. Okay? Last question? Last. Okay. Boliye.
I congratulate you, sir. This summer you have received Mr. Rahul Gandhi, sir, and it was a very successful event. Thank you for that. And we are friends of Mr. Minaj Mukhtar Sahab. We call him Jamil Bhai.
Good.
Okay. So we thank you for giving him a post.
Thank you. We are counting on him. We are counting on him.
Yeah, okay. So he is actually representing a lot of people here in Chicago and way back in Hyderabad also, because we have a lot of families here. And we hope this coming elections of Telangana, Congress will do much better, and the opinion polls are very positive. Inshallah, we will do very good, and we hope we will win there, sure.
Great, thank you. Know Minhas for quite some time. I've known him in Chicago. We have met before, and I'm delighted that he has agreed to take on this challenging task. It is going to be difficult because everybody is too busy doing their own thing. And I think it is time for someone to take the lead in Chicago to bring our community together. Okay? Say it again. Of course, you have to support him. Okay, that's why he's there. He has all my support, I can tell you that, and Mr. Gill's support. Okay?
So we have to issue the letter.
You have a question?
Hello? I have a request.
Request or question?
A question but a request.
Okay.
A small request.
Jaldi.
I've been with the Indian community for 30 years. I've been to many functions. I represent BJP, I represent Congress, I don't represent Hindu, I don't represent Christians, I don't represent Muslims. But I represent a very small minority in the United States of America. And the minority is Indian. I'm a United States military veteran. I served in the United States Army and I served in the United States Air Force. When I wear a uniform, they don't see me as a Hindu, Muslims, BJP, or Congress. They see me as Indian. And the problem is, wherever I go in every function, they talk about we have lawyers, businessmen, but one conversation they never include is that we have United States military veterans, they're Indians. And we are a minority.
Thank you.
And I want to make sure that IOC and BJP changes their speeches and involve U.S. military as being Indians.
I would say today, on behalf of IOC, why don't we make you in charge of dealing with all the, veterans, all the people in the army and military in US. Okay, take charge. Work with him. Okay, thank you. Please.
So now the good news for Mr. Minhaz Akhtar. Mr. Minhaz Akhtar, 2150 West Damon Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Dear Mr. Minhaz Akhtar ji, appointment letter. It gives me great pleasure to appoint you working president, Indian Overseas Congress, USA, Midwest Zone, effective October 19, 2023, a period of 2 years. This appointment shall be subject to terms and conditions of the IOC USA by law. As working president, Indian Overseas Congress, USA, Midwest, you will be entitled to sit as a member of the executive committee of IOC USA. I look forward for your diligent support of the organization and its goals. On behalf of IOC USA, I'd like to welcome you to the IOC USA family and wish you good luck in your interview. And I want to issue a letter.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations. Lijiye. Thank you.
Okay. We need one group picture. Please join for us for 1 minute.